simple overcall shows just one suit. How do you show three suits at once?
Double.
Exactly. And that's a bid that was one of the very first conventions that a double of a suit was for takeout. In other words, it showed all three of the other suits. Now, ideally, that means 4 cards in every suit, but we know often we don't get an ideal hand, and sometimes it's 3. So a simple overcall shows at least 5 cards in one suit. A takeout double shows hopefully 4 cards in 3 suits. Tonight is all about how you show 2 suits. Now, some of you have not done this before, so I'm going to take it fairly slowly. So don't be afraid to interrupt, please. Most of these conventions are named after bridge players of the past. Michael's was, I think, an American bridge player. And the idea is this, that can I say, by the way, that all the bids this evening need to be alerted. Your partner, because they've got nothing to do with the suit mentioned, and your partner should pick up the alert card, and then you should give a clear explanation to be fair to your opponents what you mean. So Michael's Q bid is basically you simply bid their suit. This is what a Q bid means very often in bridge. You take your Q from what they've bid. So supposing that they open 1 club, there's no law against bidding their suit, but you'd never want to do it naturally. So if you bid 2 clubs, that shows both major suits and 5 cards in them. The 2 suits really should be pretty good, let's say Queen, Jack, 10 or better. So is that clear? You've got 5 hearts and you've got 5 spades. They open 1 club. You bid 2 clubs, and at that point your partner puts up the alert card and says, you don't just say Michael's, by the way, you need to say 5 hearts and 5 spades. Might be.
Chris, do you need a certain number of points to be able to do that?
Now, that's a good question. I think we found, haven't we, generally when we've studied overcalls, that the point count doesn't matter as much as the quality or length of the suit. But I would suggest, if we're saying, I just said that Queen, Jack, 10 is a sort of minimum quality. Well, I suppose Queen, Jack, 10, that's 3 points. I'd say the very minimum, Tony, would be 6.
Mm-hmm.
But more often they're sort of 8 or more. Okay, 8 plus. There isn't really an upper limit. Okay, same idea with the other minor suit. So the first thing you learn about Michael's really is that by bidding their minor suit, you're showing both of your majors. Okay, happy so far?
Yeah.
Good.
We haven't got your picture, by the way, Chris.
Well, that's no great loss, is it? I'll see if I can. Oh, there we are. Look, is that? Oh, no, good.
That's right. Yeah.
Yes. I always watch these recordings and think I sound far more confident than I actually am, but there we are. So okay, so far.
Yes.
Some of you have seen this before, others haven't. Now, what about the major suits? What meaning can we give to them? Well, if it's a major suit, what the Michael's Q bid shows is 5 in the other major and an unspecified minor. So as so often happens in bidding, we give priority to the major. So if our opponents bid 1 heart and we bid 2 hearts, we'd be saying, right, we've got 5 spades and we might have 5 diamonds or 5 clubs. Okay, could be either. And very much the same idea with the spades. So to sum up, if you make a Q bid and minor suit, it shows both majors, 5 cards in each. On the other hand, if you make a Q bid and major suit, it shows 5 in the other major and 1 of the 2 minors. So shall we just leave that on the screen to sink in and see if there's any further questions? Can you see the pattern there?
Yeah.
Good. So We said that Queen Jack 10 or ideally is better, but vulnerability in bridge plays a big part in these kind of bids. And if you're not vulnerable, you might like to stretch it a bit. And certainly if you're in the pass out seat, I wouldn't bother if you've got 2 5-card suits. I'd almost bid them regardless. Do you remember we always tend to bid up in the pass out seat as if we've added a king. And after that, our partner will need to respond, and we'll have lots of practice at this in a minute. So what partner will normally do is show a preference for one of the major suits, which have they got the most of, for example, if both majors have bid, and bid to the level of the fit. So we've got to decide which major we prefer, and we've got to decide which level. And very often these Michael's Q bids are like other overcalls. They are very much to try and shut the opponents out of the bidding a lot of the time. And there's the responses if it's a major suit. So partner can raise the other suit to the level of the fit. In other words, if it's 2 hearts, they can raise to the 2 spades, or if they prefer the minors, they can bid 3 clubs, in which partner can correct to 3 diamonds. Now, don't try to take all of that in at once, because we've got lots of examples to come. Okay, so I'm just moving my cue out of the way if I can. Yeah. That's better. And okay, so can you see the first example now?
Yeah.
Excellent. Now, south is the opening bid at each time. So south has opened 1 diamond. What would we bid here?
1 spade.
1 spade.
Yes, I put this in deliberately
Yeah.
to sort of illustrate the difference between the 3 types of overcall. We've only got 4 hearts this time, so really it will be lying to bid Michael's, although you might just about do it in the pass out seat. So that is simply 1 spade. Okay.
Double.
Because it's not 5 cards in the majors, it's just 1 suit.
Yeah.
You happy with that?
You wouldn't double.
Now that is who's asked the first really good question? Who was that, one of the gentlemen?
Double. Brian.
Who just asked the question? Sorry.
Brian.
Oh, thank you, Brian. This is a very good question. Now, I think with a 5-card major, I wouldn't double here. I'd want to get the message about the major here.
Right.
Okay. Now, if I swap the black suits around,
Yeah, I know.
Brian, then I would. Okay. So if you've got a close call between doubling and an overcall, give priority to the 5-card major, but not the 5-card minor. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Excellent. Good.
Thank you.
How about this one?
Chris,
Yeah.
it's Beryl.
Go
If,
back to one.
on the last screen,
Yeah.
if you're doubling, you're showing certainly a shortage in their diamonds. But
Yes.
how many points would you need to do that?
To double, generally speaking, and if we just go to the next example, we'll see. Here it is. This will answer your question. Now, here is the classic takeout double hand, isn't it?
Yes.
The perfect shape, 4-4-4-1, no preference for any suit.
And an opening hand.
And an opening hand. Do you remember SOS?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shortage in diamonds, opening points, I guess that means 12.
Yeah.
Mind you, if you're on the other side of the table after 2 passes, add a king. So the answer to your question is 9 Beryl in the pass out seat, I would say.
Thank you.
So it's opening points. Good. And the support means ideally 4 cards, but sometimes 3. Now, Brian mentioned, we don't always get an ideal shape like that. If you have a 5-card major, bid it. a 5-card minor tend to go for the takeout double. So why on a lesson of Michael's Q bids if I put 2 exceptions straight away? And it's just that I want to get the bids in context and put them all together. Okay. So you can see why that's a takeout double. So we're showing 3 suits, aren't we? In number 1, you're just showing 1 suit.
Well,
In number
2.
2, you're showing 3 suits. And the rest of this evening is about how you show 2 suits. Okay. So that was a double. Okay.
Two diamonds.
Yeah.
Two diamonds.
Now, it's a lovely way, isn't it? When you've got 2 majors like this, you think, oh, shall I overcall 1 spade or 1 heart? This does it for you. Bid 2 diamonds. And when your opponent opens one of a minor and you've got 2 majors like this, this is where it really comes in useful. Okay. So after a minor suit opening, Q bidding, in other words, bidding their suit, means 2 5-card majors, might even be 6, possibly occasionally. Okay, good. As for points, well, that's got 8 points. And I think the fact that it's 8 points is less important, that they're 2 good suits, aren't they? Both of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you've only got, what, 1, 2, 3, 4. You've only got 6 losers.
You have, that's one way of looking at it, isn't it? A 6 loser hand. And I would say, you know, they very often are 7 losers. This is quite a good one. There's no limit though. They can be better than that. So there we are, Q bidding. I seem to remember doing this 3 or 4 years ago in the Fred Reynolds room.
Two clubs.
Yep, it's the same idea. Another minor suit, same idea. It's just that the minor suit's different. Okay, so far.
Yep.
It's a great way of showing 2 suits at once. So really, our partner's got a pretty accurate picture of our hand, except how strong it is.
Yeah, 2
Yeah.
hearts. And
2 hearts.
Yes, this is the one that people find a little bit harder to take in, perhaps first time. The 2 hearts here show spades. See, there's a difference between the minors and the majors. With the majors, by Q bidding, you're showing definitely the other major. The fact that you've got 5 diamonds, partner doesn't know at this stage. It could easily be 5 clubs. So Q bidding, Michael's Q bidding a major suit shows 5 of the other major and an unspecified 5-card minor. Okay.
Yep.
That's where it gets a little bit more, perhaps a little bit more difficult, because they don't come up that often and it's quite easy to forget them. Right. Probably best for regular partnerships, of course, this kind of bidding.
Yeah.
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 2 spades.
Yeah.
So it's the same idea, isn't it?
even though that pushes you up to the 3 level for a reply.
Yes. Now you're not too worried about that, you know, because you're trying to, I think you're probably trying to stop them making game in spades here, aren't you?
Right.
I mean, looking at our singleton spade, you could very easily see them, you know, getting to 4 spades eventually. So it's pretty well a preemptive bid, this. So we'll look at the other side of the table in a minute. So let's just
Chris,
Yeah.
what would you bid if you had got 5 spades there?
I would pass.
Yeah.
You'd have to put, yeah, okay.
Yes.
You wouldn't say 2 hearts because you're not bidding the same as the original.
No, you never in modern bridge bid their suit for the sake of it.
Okay.
Now, what you do is pass,
Yeah.
and it's very much up to your partner to do a takeout double if they were short in spades. So let's run through Roy's very good question again. What would you do if you did actually have 5 spades, say, good spades? you would for now pass.
Yeah.
And if North passed, it's really important that your partner is alert and does a takeout double with only 8 or 9 points. Do you see what I mean? And then when it came back round to you again, you pass, and that's how you get them for penalties. Now, I don't know what happened in Group 2 yesterday, but in Group 1, there wasn't a single penalty double.
No.
And we're not really doubling often enough. And it's partly because we don't realize how we can get them. So I'm saying, you know, you've got a good hand in spades, you pass, but how do you catch them out? Well, that's by your partner being alert. They're seeing short spades and should make any excuse for a takeout double. There's a strange noise. I won't try and describe what it sounds like.
That's that dog again.
Excuse me, that's my dog.
Oh, hello, John. I didn't realise you were with us. Again, well done on yesterday. Yesterday's result. That's not the sound of him being savaged outside, is it?
That's a snoring King
Okay.
Charles who's just had a walk and his dinner.
Oh, it's not my face he doesn't like, I hope.
No, we all love that.
Oh, I'm sure you do. Okay, so let's quickly run through these. John Siddle, do you use Michael's Cubids?
Yes, although
Yeah.
I tend to, when you're using Michael's over a major, I prefer that your partner would bid 2 no trumps to ask for the minor rather than bid clubs.
Yeah.
So it can be corrected, because there's a possibility that if it is clubs, he'll end up playing it.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah, it does. There are, as with most of these things, several different methods. I tell you what I do if I'm in doubt. I just go to Andrew Robson. He's never let me down yet, but you know,
Yeah,
it's
excellent.
pretty debatable. Just so, first one, oh sorry, that was a takeout double. That one, both majors. That one, both majors. Yeah.
Yeah.
That one, spades and a minor.
Yeah.
And the last one we did, hearts and a minor.
Yeah.
So you got the general picture. Okay.
Yeah.
Now let's look at it from the other side of the table now. Is everybody happy with the general system?
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm not pretending these come up that often, but when they do, they're very useful. Now, your left-hand opponent has opened 1 club. Partner's bid 2 clubs. You've been a good boy or girl, and you put your alert card up. And what has your partner said when the alert card went up? What should your partner have said when you
5
put
card
your-
majors.
5
Two
hearts and 5 spades.
Excellent. Now, we've hardly got an ideal hand. We only have a slight preference, and we do what we certainly don't want to do is leave partner in 2 clubs. Do you see that? That will be a disaster, and it can happen at the highest level. So which slightly suit do you prefer?
Spades.
Only just by a single point. I think I just show reluctant
Okay.
preference there.
Chris, in that situation, would you not bid 2 diamonds so your partner bids his best suit?
Yeah, that's what I would bid.
Well, we could do that, but I spent 2 or 3 days deciding how to complicated I want.
Good point. Sorry, I'll keep quiet.
Well, no, it's a very good question, and of course debatable. You can imagine when I do these sessions, I have to sort of tread a balance between what's useful and what's too complicated. And you perhaps heard the phrase "keep it simple, stupid."
Yes.
Well, sorry, I didn't mean.
Normally aimed at me.
I think you can go a little bit too far. Not all of you, of course, in regular partnerships, but of course, if you agree to do something completely different. I mean, if you were playing with Joyce, for example, John,
Yes.
would you use Michael's Cubids?
Not at all. We have normally about 2 minutes before each session
Yeah. Well,
We
you've only
discussed what we're playing,
you've
so
only
no.
been playing together for a few weeks, haven't you? So you wouldn't
Yes.
expect that at this
I've
stage.
played it with John before now.
Yes. Did you actually use it?
Yes.
You
Yes,
did. Good. And you rate it? You rated it good?
yes.
Excellent.
Okay. So that we're a bit stuck there, and there are ways of getting around this. Yeah, you could use 2 diamonds. I think that's certainly what we're going to do if we get to the Landy convention, by the way.
I don't know, Landy.
I like Andy.
I don't know.
You played as Capoletti.
Yes.
Why do you think I teach Landy?
Well, I don't know what it is, so I wouldn't know.
Be too hard.
Well, we might, Andrew Robson.
Yeah.
It's very much a matter of opinion, these conventions, and well, if we may have time to have a quick look at Landy at the end, and see what you think. Landy is a fairly simple convention, and well, we may come around that to later. What do you reckon here, though? After 2 clubs?
2 hearts.
Yeah, it's a very clear one, isn't it? This time we know that we've got an 8-card fit, so we can sort of magically come up with 2 hearts. And don't forget, of course, your partner has just explained what the bid. Oh, sorry, you have just explained what the bid meant, not your partner, because they'll be telling you, wouldn't it? So that's 2 hearts. Excellent.
2 hearts.
Yeah.
3 hearts.
Do you know? I think I will go 3 hearts.
3 hearts.
I think the trouble is, if we bid 2 hearts, it might just make it easier for South to get back in the auction. So I mean, it depends on vulnerability. It depends on who you're playing against. But I'm just going to say simply this evening, if you know you've got 9 cards in a suit, don't be afraid to bid to the 3 level. Just make it that little bit difficult. Okay. Now, of course, this varies with vulnerability and who you're playing against. So the answers you see tonight are sort of just average answers. So can you see why we bid 3 hearts there, everybody?
Yes.
Mhm.
Firstly, we knew that our partner West had at least 5 spades and at least 5 hearts from that Q bid of a minor suit, and with at least 9 cards in the suit. We try to stop South saying anything else by bidding, I think, 3 hearts there rather than 2 hearts.
How many points would you have to have? I know
Um,
you've been 3 because you've got the 4 hearts. but
Well,
how many points?
I'm often asked, was that Pat?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good question, isn't it? I mean, I'm often asked this question, and the answer is it doesn't really matter. If you've got a 9-card fit, you can bid to the 3 level almost regardless, because the less points you have between you, the more points they have. Do you see what I mean? And therefore, the more likely you are to put them off their course. So the answer is basically it doesn't matter. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
The important thing is we're finding more and more from this thing that was discovered not so many years ago, the law of total tricks, and it's been put through a computer many times that if you've got 9 cards in a suit, you shouldn't be afraid of bidding at the 3 level, whatever your strength. Of course, there are special bids sometimes to show extra strength. Do you remember the unassuming Q bid? That was when you raise an overcall but bid their suit, but we won't go there tonight. And again, there are these special bids. But basically, that is saying I've got 9 cards. All right.
Mhm.
It looks the sort of
Aim in
bit I would
hearts.
like.
Right. We've
4 hearts.
we've stuck to clubs here, haven't we? But it could have been diamonds equally well. More likely to be clubs, of course, on the shape of our hand. We know our partner's got 5 spades and 5 hearts. We have got 10 hearts between us, haven't we?
Yeah.
Mm.
And you'll see that it doesn't looks baffling to beginners, this sort of bidding. And I think four.
Four.
Now, I think you can see the reason more clearly here, that it's very likely that they're going to go into 4 spades or 3 spades or something like that. You have made their job more difficult, haven't you? Okay. So when you get, I think when you
In
got
fact,
10
Chris, if
cards-
they go to 4 spades, I think West would double.
yeah, we can't be sure of that because we can't quite see the other hands, can we?
Well,
No, but if they know that
You've
West
got
have got 5,
he's got 5 spades.
Exactly.
Yes. Yes, an alert West should do that. I'm not actually going to go quite that far in the bidding, but absolutely, that would make sense, wouldn't it, eventually?
Yes.
Not going to go too far down that road, but yeah, true. Okay. And how about this one? I'm not going too quickly, am I?
no.
No.
A bit aware of. It's a pretty looking set of bids.
Good one.
4 hearts.
I think 4 spades is more.
Well,
Well,
Roy,
let-
let-
I
better,
meant 4.
Roy.
I meant 4 spades. Sorry,
not as if
Even
you
what
ought
you
to.
meant, Roy.
Yeah.
I meant 4 spades.
Yeah. This is the hardest one, isn't it? When they cue bid your major, what it's doing is showing spades, 5 spades,
In the minor.
a minor. Now it's the spades we're interested in, and we've got at least 10 of them. We definitely want to stop South getting into 4 hearts. So I think 4 spades would be an excellent bid there. Now, one of you just said 4 hearts.
I did, but I meant 4 spades.
It's not an impossible auction, actually. I have seen in a book an auction which went 1 club, 2 club, 3 club, 4 clubs. How about that? Now, I decided not to include it tonight, but Roy, since you asked the question, yeah?
Yeah.
Suppose they open 1 club, your partner bid 2 clubs, then North bid 3 clubs. What would your bid of 4 clubs mean? And it's possible, you can do this. It's not in tonight's lesson. Why? Well, partners 2 clubs shows both majors, doesn't it?
Yes.
Now, normally you would try and pick one of the 2 of them. So what do you think 4 clubs might mean?
The partner who bid it can then have the preference of their best 5-card major.
Excellent, Beryl. CDM for you. Well done, yes. But I did think of that one, Roy, and I decided it was too difficult, but obviously it's not for some of us. So
Too difficult for me.
on very, very rare occasions, you could have 4 bids of the same suit by the same player. It would actually have some kind of meaning. If you didn't follow that, don't worry. It's not really part of tonight's lesson. Okay. Now that's a bit of a surprise coming up with 4 spades after all of that, isn't it? But when we stop to think about it, that 2 heart bid is showing spades and a minor. Now we're not too worried about the minor here. We know we've got 10 spades between us, so let's stop them making 4 hearts, or even force them overboard with 5 hearts. Either way, it can be a win-win situation. I particularly like this big one, this one here. Okay.
Showing hearts and a minor.
Now you have to have a good memory for the early part of the lesson.
Got
Which one?
hearts and a minor.
In that case,
Which
I
one?
would bid 2 no trumps and say which one is your best one.
I'm saving 2 no trumps for something else. I know it's purely arbitrary, Keith.
3 club.
Right or wrong.
3 clubs.
Okay.
Yeah, in the system I'm showing you tonight, I'm not saying 2 no trumps is wrong. I'm going to say bid 3 clubs.
Yeah.
Now that means that partner can either pass if it's clubs he's got, or bid 3 diamonds.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying this is the particular arbitrary system I've picked upon.
Yeah.
I'm going to use 2 no trumps for something else in a minute. I can't remember if it's the next one or the one afterwards.
What spades?
14. Spades and a minor.
Spades in the morning.
Two no trumps.
Three
Yes.
clubs.
Now, this is a convention, and this is what I'm using it for, Keith. I'm showing you've got an opening hand. Now, a couple of times earlier, quite understandably, people have been saying, oh, how many points do these things show? And I've sort of evaded the question. And you do need some way of showing a good hand as partner of the overcaller. And the idea in this system that I'm suggesting tonight, and only suggesting, I would reserve 2 no trumps as a way of showing that better kind of hand. And who knows, you might well get into 5 clubs or something like that. Okay. So that's a kind of convention within a convention. Any questions?
You could play no trump though,
could.
couldn't you?
Yes.
Well, that would be for West to decide.
Yeah.
That would,
Yeah.
you know, West, and I don't want to go on too long with Michael's because it really is quite advanced stuff, but maybe West actually really does have a stopper in hearts. And maybe looking at his other suits, you know, he's got those stopped as well. And West could indeed. I mean, West would need about 12 or 13 points himself, wouldn't he?
Yes.
Shown 12. But indeed, a possible scenario, so long as West has the heart stopper and he's got 13 or more points, might decide that this will play well in 3 no trumps.
Three no trumps is always better than a minor.
Not always. If you've got
No,
one,
not always, but most.
not always. Obviously, quite right, Brian, in general. But sometimes you've just got one suit wide open and you have no choice. Okay.
Actually, to be fair, West doesn't know what East hand is. We can see that with West having 5 spades, we can see
Yes.
that it's a no
I
trump
think,
hand. But they-
yeah, thing is, though, that East would bid spades if they had them,
yeah,
wouldn't they? Because that's
Yeah.
simpler.
yeah.
So what really is happening here is saying, I haven't got spades, they bid
Mhm.
hearts.
Uh-huh.
I have the minors, and I've got at least 12 points.
Mm.
That's quite sophisticated, isn't it? But it's a possible continuation. Okay. Probably be 6 months before you pick up a hand like that. Okay. And finally,
Spades.
Ooh, 4 hearts.
4 hearts.
yes.
4 hearts, yeah.
Now, I do strongly suggest that you use Michael's when they preempt as well. Now, 2 spades in these days of weak 2s means a weak hand with a good 6-card spade suit. We all play that, don't we, now?
No,
Is there anybody who doesn't, who's listening tonight, still plays
Yes.
2s?
we played
Yeah.
2 strong 3 weak.
Yeah, I know. Do you know the best conventions are the one you're used to, and so I'm not saying that's bad. The reason we play weak 2s now is just that they come up so much more often. Now, of course, North should say weak. Okay. And so what is West bid showing?
5 hearts plus
Plus
5 in a minor.
So logically, we can bid.
4 hearts.
So I'm just showing you that there to show that sometimes Michael's can be used on 2 bids or even 3 bids. Okay. So that's that for Michael's. But you'll have probably worked out that if you go through the system, it doesn't really cater for all possibilities, does it, of 2 suits? Not quite. So let's move on to, oh, sorry, I've got my prompt there getting in my way. Just try and move that. That's it. there's the complete system. Now, for the eagle-eyed among you, you'll see it doesn't actually cater for all possibilities. So for that reason, can I leave this, Michaels, for now? Or is there anybody? It's all on the website, of course, and you can always watch the recording. So there is another similar thing, which has the delightful name of the unusual two-no trump. You come across that, any of you?
Oh, yes.
The good news is this is not beer, by the way, it's spring water, in case you're wondering. It's easier than Michael's because an overcall of two no trumps shows 5 cards in the 2 lowest rank suits. Okay. Can you see that last bid's a typo there? That should show 1 spade, shouldn't it?
Yeah.
So assuming, can you see my pointer going over that?
Yes.
That should say 1 spade, sorry. So if they open 1 spade and you overcall 2 no trump, provided you have agreed to play this, that means you've got 5 cards in the 2 lowest ranking suit, which are clubs and diamonds. Okay.
Yeah.
1 heart, same idea, clubs and diamonds. 1 diamond, on the other hand, what are the lowest 2 unbid suits if diamonds has been opened? There, hearts and clubs and hearts. Okay. And if clubs has been opened, it's diamonds and hearts.
Yeah.
I think the unusual two no trump is easier than Michael's, but it just completes the system. So it shows 5 cards in the 2 lowest ranking 5 card suits. Okay.
And how many
Well,
points?
Unbid 5
Well,
cards.
same kind of thing. If we're going to say, there we are, we're just coming to it, aren't we? Queen, Jack, 10 or better.
Yeah.
I suppose if you had nothing else but 2 Queen, Jack, 10 or better suits, you'd might have as low as 6 points. Depends on the vulnerability, of course. And perhaps even less if you're bidding in the pass out seat. And usually your partner will give some kind of preference. Same idea about the level of the fit, so it's a very similar kind of thing. So let's launch straight into it. What is your bid? Yeah.
Two no trump.
The double.
You know, at roughly 8:15 or 8:10, what always happens in these sessions? There's a trap.
It's only 8 points.
I
On
know.
heart.
Yes, yes. The 2 lowest ranked suits are hearts and diamonds. So being a nasty sort of person, I thought I'd stick this in now to try and catch you out. It's just 1 heart. You haven't got 5 card suits, have you?
No.
Okay. So that's just a simple overcall. Okay. Not very nice of me.
That's your double.
Double.
You're not
Double.
falling for it this time. We certainly have 2 5 card suits. Classic take out double. Okay. So when will we get to the real thing?
All right.
Two 5 cards.
Yeah, that would be 2 no trump
Yeah.
then.
Yes. The 2 lowest unbid suits are diamonds and hearts, and we've got absolutely the right hand for that. 2 no trumps. Okay, excellent. Good. So it's quite easy. It's easier to remember. It's just the 2 lowest suits, the unusual. If I haven't said already, your partner should be alerting, of course. And, you know, against inexperienced players, you shouldn't say unusual 2 no trump. You'll say, my partner has at least 5 hearts and at least 5 diamonds. Make it nice and clear.
But even with only 8 points, you'd still go to 2 no trump.
Oh, I think so. Yes, you see, because I think the suit quality is the main thing. And I'm not worried about bidding a bit too high because we could be stopping. We can make life awkward for them. You know,
It really does take up bidding space.
it does. I mean, it has that advantage, doesn't it? Okay. Okay, so you happy about that two lowest? There's diamonds.
Yeah, same again.
Yeah,
Clubs and hearts.
that's right. Of course, if we bid two diamonds there, we'd be showing both majors, wouldn't we?
Yeah,
But instead, we bid two no trumps to show the two lowest unbid suits. That's hearts and clubs. It's all very neat, all this. It's been around for quite a long time, about 1950s or 60s, I think, all this.
yeah, same again.
Yeah, I think that's the one that everybody remembers, that, you know, because you'll often get people saying, oh, two no trumps, that shows both minors. Well, actually, that's not quite right. It shows the two lowest unbid suits. So it does here, and that's often the case. Particularly useful bid there, because you really see them steaming into hearts, can't you, there, for hearts or something, and your partner might be able to do something about it. And finally, in this group,
The two no trumps.
Yeah,
Yeah,
same again.
sounds though you've got the pattern to this quite nicely. Good, two no trumps. Sorry, I'll just do that one again. See the explanation. So it's well, it is both minors there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Again, yeah, okay. And now from the other side of the table. South has opened one spade.
So he's got two.
Five clubs and five diamonds.
Yes,
Three diamonds.
yes. Let's bid to the level of the fit. Now, I will say, actually, I think sometimes that can be a bit conservative, but I think we'll stick to the level of the fit. Partner has shown five clubs and five diamonds. Our job is simple. We've got 9 diamonds. We don't really want South to get into the bidding again, particularly. So let's go up to 3 diamonds. You happy with that?
Yeah.
Excuse my ignorance, sorry.
No.
No, I
No,
am
no.
being ignorant at this point.
No.
2 no trumps, pass, 3 diamonds. Is that not a transfer to hearts?
No. An overcall of 2 no trumps is not a balanced hand.
It's not a stain.
Okay.
Okay,
No, we don't know. Very good. I'm glad you asked that, because this can confuse people.
Yeah.
1 no trump is an overcall, a genuine overcall of a 15 to 19 point balanced hand. Then 2 diamonds will be a transfer. Okay.
Yeah.
yes.
2 no trumps is never used in natural bidding. Now, I have seen people try to bid it with about 21 points. But in my view, if West had a really strong hand, let's say 20 plus, they should simply double.
Right, thank you.
And that's how you differentiate between a 1 no trump overcall and a really strong hand.
Thank
So
you.
most people reserve 2 no trumps for this. Well, it's preemptive effect, as somebody said earlier. And
Chris, with a very strong hand, would you double and then rebid 1 no trump after if there's a rebid? That would show a very strong hand.
If you've got room, yes, 1 no trump. But when your partner answered that double, as they must if North passes, if you then bid something else, that's showing a really strong hand.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It doesn't happen very often. We're talking here about an overcaller who's got 20 or more points. It can happen. So it's actually too strong for a normal overcall.
Yeah.
So what you do with a really strong overcalling hand is you double, and whatever partner answers, you will probably contradict them, and that's a sign of a really strong hand. Does that answer your question?
Thank you,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. Very understandable. Understandable possible confusion there.
Yeah.
Yeah, clubs.
Oh, sorry.
Be four, five clubs.
Yeah.
I
I
think
would
so.
put 5 clubs on that.
Absolutely, I think the computer's actually going to say 4. Let's have a look. Yeah, by the law of total tricks, it does give 4, doesn't it? Because they've got 5 clubs and 5 diamonds. You happy with that?
Somebody got the tray.
And we know we've got 10 clubs. Now, I think in reality, you're making life too easy there. I mean, I know it depends on vulnerability and everything. I think I would be tempted to go 5 clubs and bid 1 above the level. And that probably very likely will stop them getting into 4 hearts. So the computer says 4 clubs because it's just added up the level of the fit. I would make, it's called this, if you bid 5 clubs, by the way, it's called an advanced sacrifice. You're expecting them to make 4 hearts, very likely. So you preempt them by going to 5 clubs. So I think I would bid 5 clubs on this hand, 1 above the level of the fit, which has the lovely name of advanced sacrifice. Depends who you're playing against, doesn't it? Sometimes. And now,
That would be 4 hearts.
yes, the 2 lowest ranking suits are actually this time hearts and clubs.
Clubs, yeah.
We have 10 hearts. I think the computer will say, yes, it has 4 hearts.
4 hearts, yeah.
And we quite possibly have put them off getting into 3 no trumps there at a pinch. Maybe 5 diamonds, who knows? Well, they could still get into 5 diamonds, but we might even make 4 hearts, who knows? Because our 2 no trump partner may have more than the 6, 7, 8 points that we've been seeing. Okay.
They'll have a spade fit there, Chris, won't they?
Yes. Well, North can't have 4 spades, or he should have bid them, I guess. So maybe.
Well, they must have, because the 2 no trump bid can have a maximum of 2.
Yeah.
You've got 3, so they've got an 8 card fit in spades there, which makes the North bid a bit odd, really.
Yes, they could well. Yeah, I have to admit, I just slung that in. It could have been 2, or it could have been 3 spades. Yeah, indeed. Yeah. Okay, next one. Now, what's going on here?
We've got diamonds and hearts.
Our partner's got diamonds and hearts, correct. What
5 diamonds.
What would you read North's bid out of interest?
I'd say just showing value.
I think it probably hints at both majors, actually. Anyway, South would explain that to us. It's the kind of bid we might have actually had last time. So what do you think we should bid here? Regardless.
5 diamonds without hesitation, deviation.
Without any hesitation. Before they find their major suit fit. Sorry, just okay. Good. And a couple of oddities to finish with.
There's 10. Clubs and diamonds. 5 clubs then.
Yeah.
Yes, very good, Tony. I'm just showing here, by the way, that you can actually use the unusual no trump at the 4 level. So if you're going to do that, I don't really quite see how it could be Blackwood in this situation anyway. It's showing clubs and diamonds, so we go straight to unhesitatingly there with 5 clubs. Incidentally, curiously, an overcall of 3 no trumps. So an overcall of 2 no trumps is unusual. An overcall of 4 no trumps is unusual, but an overcall of 3 no trumps is to play genuinely. Okay, pretty.
It's even more unusual, actually.
Yes, it's even more unusual, but it's a very useful bid, isn't it? Very useful bid. So, I mean, I'd be superbly amazed if anybody uses that in our group, but it'd be marvelous. And this one.
2 spades. Clubs and diamonds.
Yeah.
2 spades. Weak.
3 clubs, 3 clubs.
4 clubs. 4 clubs.
Well, we seem to have an answer of clubs here.
3 clubs.
3 clubs, Anna.
What do we think?
3 no trumps.
Right. Now, sorry, I do apologise. This was a trick question. Do you know that against weak 2s, and we're assuming this is weak, 2 no trumps is equivalent to a 1 no trump overcall?
No.
Okay, let's just put it up again. Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Now, how, if you know, weak 2s are a nuisance, aren't they? So how do you show a 15 to 19 point hand with a stopper in spades? How can you show that? And the agreed method generally is to bid 2 no trumps. So against a weak 2, 2 no trumps, I'm just put that in just to be awkward, is actually equivalent to 15 to 19 points with a stop in spades. Now we have 12, so our bid is actually 3 no trumps.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's not been an easy lesson tonight, has it? And I think once this Monday group gets going, we might well go back a bit to scratch in some of my Zoom recordings. Just want to show you one thing before we go. Now, the Landy convention. I'm not going to do the examples tonight because I think we've had enough. But what do you do if they open 1 no trump? Now, there are several systems, and somebody's already said they don't like Landy. Of course, the conventions I show you are far from compulsory. But this is the suggested one, that after 1 no trump, a bid of 2 clubs shows at least 5-4 in the majors. Okay. Could be 5-5, but more often it's 5-4. This is how you cope with overcalling 1 no trump. Might even be 4-4 in the pass out seat. And why does it say point range suggestion 8 to 15 there, do you think? What would you do with 16 points?
Double.
Very good. Very good. You'd be doubling for penalties, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
So I think that's, sorry, I keep getting a kind of prompt in the way. So let's very, very quickly then. What would you bid here?
2 clubs.
2 clubs, that will be Landy. Please don't feel obliged to play this, especially if you've already got a partner, you're playing something else. There are other systems called Aspro or Astro or something that sounds as if you take it for a headache. But this is the simple one. And what would you bid here? Your partner's overcall 2 clubs.
Spades.
Spades.
Yeah. Now, yeah, you're okay here. You can bid spades. Okay. Because partner's got 5 spades and 4 hearts, or the other way around. Okay. So either way, it doesn't matter.
Well, when would you jump to 3 spades? Because you've got 4 spades, haven't you? And you've got.
I think you jump to split 3 spades if you had a 5th spade, certainly.
You don't know whether the 2 club bid is 4 hearts and 5 spades, or 5 or 4 spades and 5 hearts.
Well, fortunately,
So you just play
no,
conservatively.
Well, yes, indeed. I think 2 spades is quite enough there. Okay. This is why we open one no trump, isn't it? One reason we open one no trump, because it does make the bidding more difficult, the opposition. And this one?
2 hearts.
Hearts,
Yeah.
hearts.
Yes. Our partner's got 5 spades or 4 hearts, or the other way around.
Yeah.
So that's nice and easy. Just 2 hearts will do there. And how about this one? Do you know what to do with this one?
Spades.
Spade, surely. Yeah.
2 spades.
Oh, 2.
Not too down.
Oh,
Diamond.
I
He
think.
hasn't.
Oh, it's like that goal in the last minute, isn't it? Look what I've done. I meant to make an equal number of spades and hearts.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have gone on to Landy. Well, thank you for being, I'm going to stop recording, but thanks for being a great audience on one of our most difficult topics. So I'm going to stop recording if I can find my prompt at the bottom.
Alexa, turn on the sunroom light.
Mm.
Okay.